Hello, everyone. Welcome to GameTalk. We just played Volendam, 1-4. Easy win on the score sheet. Luke, it didn't feel really like we were in trouble today, although we had two moments. We'll come to that in a bit. But overall, I feel Volendam wasn't really that good to give us, a hard time. And we just played our game. We didn't really excel, but we did what we had to do. We just got the 3 points, easy goals, good goals as well from Taylor, twice. Broby once. I know at this point, we're not being too critical about the gameplay, and it's hard for you because one of the things you like is to watch patterns and these kind of things. You look at it from a coaching perspective as well, but we know where we are. We know what kind of season we had, and we have 2 games left after this, and things are looking good for the 5th spot.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to play amazing football, at least win, right? So at this point in the season, we have a couple of games left. The most important thing is just to get the points now, because let's be real, if we start playing really good football now and then we get a new manager, there's no point in playing the good football now. I think we all had enough. They lost the opportunity to play good football. We just want it to end now.
Yeah. Okay. Let me bring you to maybe some interesting moments, and I will ask you some questions as well. Everybody that's tuned in, let me know if you have some questions for Luke as well, or maybe just a remark or a comment. I will pull it up as well. All right. Let's go with the first thing I want to mention. So let's talk about that moment, that penalty moment for Volendam. A bit of a discussion. It took the VAR also some time to assess that one. What was your opinion about what happened? What's your assessment of this?
Initially, from real time, I thought he was offside. But then when they start looking at the VAR cameras, every time they kept switching it to one side looked like it was off, one side looked like it was on. And the issue I have is the angle of the camera. They're not like perfectly in line sometimes, so it looks like it's offside or another. So it's like, well, how could you judge it as VAR and have one camera that shows onside and one that's offside? What one are you referring to?
Yeah.
So I feel like sometimes they just guess and just pick what they decide to pick at the time, or what it looks like it should be, or whatever they want to. So, but it was calamitous defending for that also, because I'm looking at Mansberg and he's being held towards his own goal, and he's got 2 hands on the man. So if there wasn't going to be a penalty for really coming out and taking out the man, which would have been a penalty also if he wasn't offside, Mansberg needs to be careful with defending, because that could have been one there as well. Why have you got 2 hands around the man and facing towards your own goal? Like, you should be having your back to the player, ready to clear the ball when the ball comes to you. But luckily there was offside, and fortune was with us at that point.
My reading was a little bit also like the throw-in. We know from a throw-in it cannot never be offside, right? But the thing is whether the ball comes from the defender, so from Ajax player, or from the attacker. Did the attacker touch the ball, yes or no? I think that was very difficult to assess from the camera angle, but we got away with that. No complaining here. Then we move to the goal. Taylor, we have to highlight Taylor, man. We've been criticizing Taylor this season, but lately he's been, showing what he's capable of.
And that's because he's not playing left back, right? It's what happens when you play people in their correct positions. And, I'm a big fan of a target player, someone who's able to be a focal point. You're playing short, you can't get out. You do stick a long ball every now and then to them to hold the ball and allow runners to come up the field. So Taylor doing that kind of thing, if he's not the best defensively and he's not the best really in terms of possession and stuff, keep him towards goal, because he clearly can make the runs. He's got the energy to keep making runs. And he also enjoys the combination play of Broby. He's had that good relationship with Broby most of the time. Most of the time he's played well. So, he did really well today. I felt like his effort was rewarded today, especially in the second half. It was getting towards the later stages of the half of the game, and he's still pressing, and he's still trying to press. And if he's pressing the striker and Henderson's holding his position in for the midfield, he's then coming across and trying to press and forcing him to go back to the keeper. So he really tried today, and he was rewarded.
Yeah, look, we have to be honest as well. This Volendam team wasn't that good. We are Ajax fans. We're always critical about everything, even though we win 4-1. we're still happy with the win. The thing I want to say though about Taylor is we always look at his, like at the way he plays, right? What kind of technical baggage does he has? What can he do, etc., etc. But one thing we haven't talked about, and maybe we should, he's been criticized earlier this season. Don't forget that he was booed when he got substituted, and he's still a young player. And to come up like that still in this season and show what he's been doing in the latest weeks. And every time he got interviewed, he was like, yeah, I need to improve. I know what I have to do. I need to improve, and I just need to go with it, Maybe from a mental perspective, because sometimes we're critical about the mental, how do you call it? Like the mental strength of some players. But can we also be positive about that in regards to Taylor?
Yeah, absolutely. That you get a young player who knows they need to improve, like Guy. And I know Guy did it in a different way. We had an interview and he sat down and he got things off his chest. Bit different from him because it's his first season. He's trying to adapt, but there are similarities where Guy was mentally strong or resilient is a better word. He was resilient, and then he got a couple of goals, couple of assists in a few games, and he was able to build on that confidence and become and perform better than he was, although he wasn't involved in the game today. So but Taylor's the exact same. If you have faith in a player, they can perform for you if they're allowed to make the mistakes. And unfortunately, he wasn't allowed the freedom by Ajax fans to make mistakes because he got hounded. And okay, you can expect better from Taylor because he has been a senior player for a couple of years, albeit in poor circumstances with managers and the technical staff, etc. But to have that kind of resilience mentally, to know you need to improve and to be able to self-evaluate yourself and be critical about yourself will only make him a stronger player. And as we can see, the last couple of weeks or last couple of games, he's starting to take steps to become a better player again. And I hope that should we get someone like Potter in or a manager that can actually coach and improve players, he'll become even better version of himself then. So, but his role for me definitely is as an 8 or like a 10 or making these deep runs beyond Bobby into the box and trying to score goals.
Yeah, absolutely. According to Murder Inc., just pulling this one up quickly, it's the Cruz effect. So maybe, who knows? Look, I'm just moving forward to the next thing I want to discuss. Just highlighting a couple of things. We need to touch upon Chuba for a minute because today I was just, everybody was of course a bit critical. He's coming back from the wing. He's put on the wing side because Berghuis cannot start. And we know, like, when he starts there, whether it's left or right, he comes to the center a little bit, like becoming a little bit more like a second striker. Usually the fans are not really fond of this method because we like to have more like wingers on the side. But apart from this, from how he plays that role, if we look at the contribution of Akpom this season, it's incredible. He scored 11 goals in the Eredivisie already. He's played far less than other players. He's mostly from the bench coming in. Today he started because we're missing some players. But are we? I know that we're critical about his technical baggage, how he plays, the explosiveness, all these kind of things. But he scored 11 goals, and I just calculated that together with Brobbey, they make up 40% of the Eredivisie goal this season so far. Are we underestimating the impact of Akpom in your opinion?
No, because I don't think that people are that critical of him because he has been scoring consistently throughout the season in Europe, and he comes up with a goal, albeit they're mainly like goals in a 3-0, 4-0 kind of a win. But his contributions, they're just being in the right place at the right time, and sometimes you need that. We look back at Huntelaar, he was a fantastic goal scorer, but when the team needed to build up, it was either Tadic as a false 9 or it was Dolberg trying to hold the ball up, in that period of years, so so sometimes it's good to have that player like Brobbey that can hold the ball, could do all those things, and then when you need a goal, you can bring on someone like Akpom who has the instinct to be in the right place at the right time. He shouldn't start though. I don't think he's a starter though, albeit the goals he scored 11 goals in the league, I believe. Fantastic. I still think that there's only room for one striker in with the players that we have.
Yeah. Do you feel Akpom and Brobbey are a little bit similar, or do you think they're different type of strikers?
I think they're similar in terms of Akpom likes to receive defeat a lot more, and so does Brobbey. And I feel like if asked to, if Brobbey's not fit, then Akpom can do that back to goal role. But obviously he won't. When they played together, he was more facing towards goal or trying to get on the end of things, and Brobbey was trying to hold up. There was a moment in the first half where Henderson puts the ball in the box, and Akpom gets his head onto it. It goes over, but he's trying to get forward to goal, and Brobbey's the one who's trying to offer the short option. So I think that I think they're similar. They can do similar jobs, but I think they're not that similar in terms of a player. I think Akpom prefers to score goals and finish like a Huntelaar than be a Brobbey. If that makes sense.
Yeah, understood. What was your favorite goal? Quickly.
I like Brobbey's one. I think it shows the confidence and the progression he's had as a player. To have the confidence to drop the shoulder, get it on your left foot, and then try to bend it into the far corner. I feel like that just shows the confidence and the progression of him as a player, developing well, and the ability to be able to finish a chance like that. The Brobbey of last year or the year before, wouldn't have taken that chance. But to drop the shoulder and have the confidence to take on your left, that's my favorite one. But Taylor's goals were good as well. So
yeah, look, not to be very critical again, like I said in the early stages of this session of this video, we're at the end of the season. We're not going to be too critical. We just needed 3 points, etc. But just one thing I have to raise and I have to ask you is the clean sheet issue. Why can't we keep a clean sheet? I mean, after all, this is Volendam, one of the weakest side in the Eredivisie. What's going on? What's going on with us at the back?
The reason why we can't is because we keep playing Fitzjim as a winger.
No, come on, no.
It's because Sutalo is just not good. He's not good. Let's be real. The reason why we conceded today was he just lost his man completely. And the thing is you could lose your man by maybe a small amount, but Sutalo was here and the Volendam player was here, and it's like, if Rulli has gone to the front post to try, or near the front to try and claim a cross, you need to come back and be able to defend the rest of the goal, right? But he's gone to the front post as well. And listen, I understand that as a defense, you shuffle over, so if Kaplan has gone forward one, and the defense needs to shuffle and Wrench needs to shuffle. But in this situation, Sutalo was with the man, and then that was it. Yeah. So it's either Sutalo needs to stay with his man, or Wrench needs to come up one. But then you risk the back post of a winger coming inside and taking a chance. So for me, it was Sutalo's fault, because there was no clear communication clearly from Rulli as well, but also as a defender, you shouldn't be running towards the ball. You should be able to have your body open, ready to head the ball away, not sprint into the front post where you already have your goalkeeper and Hato already stepping out to try and block the cross. This is not needed.
They had the early second half chance as well, the one that hit the post, which was also Stalo didn't look that good there as well. The question I want to ask you, right, because you mentioned about Taylor, like with a good manager, with a good coach, he can become a better player. Would you say the same applies to Sutalo as well? Do you still have confidence in him? We only saw him this season, which has been a dramatic season for a lot of players. But do you feel like there is still something in him? There's still the Sutalo that was at Zagreb, that plays for the national team, etc.
I would like to say yes, but I feel like with Kaplan and with Hato going forward, I feel like they're going to be the central defenders going forward with the new manager. So I feel like I would like to say yes, because there are times where today he brought the ball out very well. Okay, he had the composure to beat a man when they were to beat the press and play the ball out. But if you're a defender, you have to be able to defend first properly. And there are too many times this season where he has just lost his man, or he's fell over, or he's made a mistake, and it might just be really, really bad luck throughout this whole season, trying to adapt, and it's just one of those bad first seasons. Because Alvarez didn't start off the best when he first joined as well. So might be one of those things. And I would hope that considering how much we paid for him, 25 million, something like that. I'd hope that you'd get that kind of player. It's not working for him in a minute, and like we said with Taylor, I think any player can improve. Should a new manager come in?
Okay, let me go through the comments quickly. If you want to react, just let me know. Steve is saying 4-3-3 in name only. Yeah, on paper basically. And actually 4-4-2 with a box on the midfield and 2 forwards. Van het Schip is so one-dimensional. Yeah, not a fan of Van het Schip. That's clear. Also, Steve is adding, happy for the win, but can't wait to see the real Ajax again, hopefully sometime soon. Hopefully next season with a good coach. Let's see. Let's wait and see who the next coach will be, because that's also going on for a while now. Yeah, more ink about Sotalo is a waste of money, basically. Saying they're a waste of money. And also adding to that, not a fan of Rensch, saying Rensch doesn't deserve any more chance at Ajax. Ooh, that's harsh. All right. Clear. Papimento also saying congrats with the win, Ajaxide. Even though it's not the football we want, at least the win. Yeah, we gave up on that, to be honest. And Keith is saying, why 2 more games feels like forever? Can't wait the season officially end. Yeah. Casilla is saying a win is all that matters at this point. Secure that 5th spot and sign a good coach ASAP, so that we can start building for next season. Yeah, most of the Ajax fans have just checked out already, right? Although we want to finish 5th, of course. Red Butler is saying, let me translate. Good play by the boys today. Yeah, it was decent. It was enough. It was enough to just make it happen. What did you think of Henderson, by the way, today? He came back.
I wanted to talk about Henderson actually. You can definitely notice him on the field, and I say that in a way where he demands the ball. There are times when I see, Sotalo or someone, the ball comes from the left side, it goes into midfield, and it goes to the centre back, or Sotalo or Mansverk, and Henderson goes to him, and it's just like, give me the ball, let me make things happen. And there was times where he played the pass forward for one of the goals, and also he was putting the ball into the box for the Akpom chance at the start and things like that. So he's actively trying to make chances. And I feel like that's something that we lack when we have a pivot of Mansverk and Zahirovic. Whilst Zahirovic has been doing so, trying to play these passes forward, I feel like Henderson, with the experience and obviously the level that he's played at, obviously is a lot better at it. But at the same time, he's talking. And I mean, towards the end of the game, I think a free kick was given to Volendam in the middle of our half. He's turning around, he's having a go at people, and when he doesn't play, we don't have that. We don't have someone that's managing on the field. And it's just like Clive did when he was playing. He would manage on the field, and Arteta obviously managed on the field when he was a player, and now he's a manager now. It's one of those traits that you need someone to be able to tell the players on the pitch what the manager wants and understand how the manager wants to play. And I know that we don't know how the manager wants to play as fans, but obviously he's been given instructions and what to do and things, and he's trying to implement them. So we definitely do look better with Henderson on the pitch. I'm just worried that, he's obviously getting to the latter stages of his career. How fit can he be? And when he doesn't play, will we struggle because you don't have that leader? So I'm hoping in the transfer window we can really get someone that hasn't got experience, but someone with a experienced personality that knows how to organize and be able to just keep everyone calm and focused and motivated to see things out to the end. When was the last time we saw us scoring goals this many times late in the second half? In the second half we watched recently, it's been nothing. We just go to sleep. But he's actively keeping people awake, which means that we scored more goals today and managed to win the game. So
yeah, good points. Thanks for that. Let me go through the comments quickly. Just a few left. Red Butler is saying the rest of the defense is not tracking runners. When Hato steps to challenge, back post is uncovered.
It's like I said, there's no communication with it, because if Sotalo's going to go forward, Rensch has to come over one, or Sotalo has to stay with his man. It's one or the other. So they're both, it's gone wrong somewhere in that moment,
Yeah. John W. is saying Luke is correct regarding Sotalo. He's consistently losing his man on the back post. Yeah, it's not the first time, right?
Yeah.
Red is also asking a question. Do you think we will get a top tier coach? It depends on the definition of a top tier. It's subjective.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think we will get an experienced coach. I think we'll get Potter. I do. I feel like that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Because
let me ask you about that, right? Because as far, I don't know if you know what's going on right now, according to the latest news, etc. But the negotiations are basically regarding financial reward, but also regarding his influence in the recruitment and other stuff. Knowing that Ajax gave this away a little bit to previous coaches and that didn't go so well, where do you stand right now? How far should we go to bring Potter in? One, financially, but second of all, having a say in the technical things of the club? Or should Ajax just keep close to their identity and not give it away to a coach that's coming in? How do you view that? It's a tough question, but I have to ask it.
That's fine. In football, it changes. You can't stick to the Clive identity or whatever identity forever. It's just not going to work. Things change, and you have to change with it. You have to adapt with it. You look at all other managers, Mourinho and Wenger, for example, back 15 years ago, they wasn't able to change with football, and Mourinho has suffered. I know Wenger retired, but Mourinho has suffered to an extent where he doesn't look like the same coach that he once was, because football just changes. So I think eventually we're going to have to make a decision about, do you want your manager to decide who you sign and work with the technical director and they decide together, instead of having other people decide for you? Because we gave that to Mislintat on his own. Well, he said he worked with Stein, but he essentially worked by himself mainly. Yeah. And he brought in these players that he thought were right, but they weren't. But this time we've got Kroos, who's the technical, or the whatever title he's been given, but as technical director, essentially, where he knows Ajax and he knows what kind of players Ajax have had and what he wants to see. And you have Potter, who's very good at bringing players through, like he did at Brighton, So I don't know. I don't see why you wouldn't trust Potter with the signings. You just limit to how much he can spend, so you don't make the same mistake with Mislintat, because they gave completely free reign to him. Maybe you just say, okay, well, these are what you can do with it. If you can sell some players, you have a bit more to work with, but the manager knows how he wants to implement his side. And I think that's the mistake that was last year, was that we didn't Stein wasn't trusted enough, to completely, go with his idea, his playing style, because, you can't play good football with players that you don't think are right for it, because then you don't have the belief that you can do it. And that's the biggest problem, is if the manager doesn't believe that you can do it with the players, then they're not going to, are they? So,
sure. So what you're saying is basically, so just to summarize quickly. So what you're saying basically is you need to involve the coach. However, it has to be within the certain framework you want to work in, right? Is that what you're saying?
Okay. You have to, because how is a manager supposed to manage if he hasn't decided for what players he wanted? Do you understand?
Yeah. And having players also with the coach is also a trust thing, which was lacking at the start of the year. Stan didn't have any trust in the players that came in, right?
If, for example, if you go into a job and they give you a really simple task and they don't trust you with doing the job fully, or you're not going to feel valued, you're not going to feel anything, you're not going to feel welcome. So they need to, if they're going to go and hire a coach like Potter, you're going to have to go and give him what he wants, because he has proven also that he's got the ability to change a team like he did at Brighton. Does that make sense?
Yeah, understood. Okay, going to the comments. There's some coming in as well. Okay, so we just discussed this one. Stephen is saying, I'll take a win where we can, but still we could be critical. Fully agree. That's just in our DNA as well. Let me see. John W. agreeing with you on the Henderson. Yeah, very good. What else do we have? Papimento is reacting as well. He's saying, I think the technical director and coach have to both agree. The Overmars and Haag way was the best. Yeah, they trusted each other, right? And they both had the same.
It happens a lot as well. It's happened really successfully with Arsenal as well in the Premier League. So, there's a lot of teams that have that kind of model with a technical director and the manager, and they work together, and it's proven to be successful. So I hope that we can go back that way again.
Correct. Keeper of Up is saying a difference between Kroos and Mislintat is that Kroos had a connection with Ajax and Mislintat didn't at all. So yeah, that's true. Which experienced Dutch or former Eredivisie player you'd like to see in Ajax next season? Did you give it a thought? It's a difficult one.
Are we talking realistic? Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
So
Yeah.
I can't turn around and say Frankie back.
Here,
I don't know.
he's reacting as well. He's saying, I would like to have Ziyech and Filip Juricic back. Yeah, I don't know.
I will. I'll give a think, and then I'll answer at the end.
All right,
if I can
cool.
think of one.
But I have a last question, right? I always have the question, final question.
You haven't been on for a couple of streams, so you must have 20,000.
I know somebody. I know Ron was making a joke. I know he was making those jokes. All right. Papimento is saying Eriksen. That's an interesting name as well.
That is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, we won 2 more games. How are you feeling now? Because I remember I asked you this a few weeks back. How much do you give us a chance to end up like on the 5th spot? You weren't that hopeful back then. Now?
No, still not really, because Volendam were awful.
Okay, so we have Almere City. We have Almere City at home, and then we play Vitesse, who was already relegated last game.
But that's the worst thing, is you play in a team that has nothing to play for, because they'll just play with no pressure.
Okay.
Vitesse. I expect to win those games though, but with this team, it's Ajax, and I'm just like, yeah, you just never know what they're going to throw out. I think is 1 home, 1 away.
I'm sorry?
Is one at home and 1 is away.
Yes, correct.
I think there'll be a win twice, but I'm not comfortable.
Because of what happened this season.
Yeah, well, because we just look really like that penalty. If that penalty was a penalty today, and then they scored that goal, they hit the post. I know football is a bunch of what ifs, and you can say it about anything, right? But it's just like we look so shaky still at the back. Like we can concede from anything that goes forward. Genuinely.
Yeah. There's some name dropping going on, and then I will address also something that John W just said. But they're name dropping the players that they might want to see back. Tadic is being
mine's Neres.
Of course, a joke. We can always use a joke. Okay, young for me. Murder Inc. is saying Tadic or Neres. Romeo is saying Tadic forever. Ziyech. Zip Selecta is saying Eriksen, Kluivert, Taifiko. The Kluivert one is interesting because apart from all the names that are being mentioned, these are all veterans right now, 30 plus years, if I'm not mistaken. But the Kluivert one, although I question whether we can get him because of the salary demands, but he might be a good one on the right side.
He's been good for Bournemouth currently as well last few weeks. Mine's Neres. I would like to see Neres back.
Yeah. Keith is also saying, be honest, 2 games left. I don't care. Waiting to see the new away jersey, actually. That's what he's looking for. Looking forward for. John W. had a question. God's added speed and energy to the attack. Rijkhoff offers the same level of energy, but different position. Why wait so long to bring him on? It's actually a nice bridge because that's my final question that I have, but you can answer this one first. Can you go in the mind of Van het Schip and try to understand why? Because that's the question, basically.
I can't answer it. I don't know. Right. because even when Bobby was injured and Akpom was not able to play, he still didn't play him. He played Bergwijn, so I honestly don't know why he doesn't play him more. We haven't even had a chance to see what he can do or not properly. Yeah. He only gets 10 minutes. So honestly, I can't answer that. But Gots was really, really good today. In terms of a different dynamic, the right side we didn't have a winger. On the left side, especially at the start of the game and then towards the second half as well, he was able to get the ball and just drive at the man, and they couldn't handle it. And I know throughout the end of the first half, he looked like he was very tired because he was doing it a lot at the start. He looked like he got his second wind, got his energy back, and was able to do it more in the second half. Yeah.
Actually, just for the viewers to know, during the game, you were texting me and telling me he needs to work on his endurance, her fitness level. Being able to go back and forth. That's the thing that's missing right now, right?
Yeah, sure. I feel like if he does what Bobby did and puts the effort in it's not that he doesn't put the effort in the gym. It's just he needs more games. Because the thing is match fitness can be different to being fit in the gym, isn't it? There's a lot of intensity on the legs, up and down. You have 5 minutes where you're waiting, then you've got to burst with the ball. So, I think he looked good and looks confident because he's got I don't know if they count it as an assist today where the keeper parried it to Akpom, but he was getting involved and he was trying to set players up.
All
So.
right. All right. Quickly on the comments, and then I will ask my final question. I have a final question for you, and I have a final question for the viewers, actually. So here you go. I had the weeks to prepare, right? So here we go. Vic is saying Arda Güler on loan. We were interested with him like a few years back. He got really injured. Interesting name drop. Javid is saying he's not having anything about Kluivert. He's still pissed at him. Kluivert left when we needed him. Hopefully we got Taj back. So hope Kluivert will rotten in his sub-top career away from Ajax. That's harsh, man. That's harsh. And then Zip is reacting, actually saying Kluivert left because we want to sell him for Davison Sanchez. All right. Nickname is reacting to God saying he looks chubby. Chunky wingers on the left.
I didn't notice.
Murder Inc. saying Gods need to hit the gym to burn some fat. So people are saying, Fosu Mensa is being mentioned, by the way. Anyways. And Poppy is saying, I hope all these players take on the Alvarez workout in the summer. I'm not sure what that is, but that's a nice one. Let me ask you the question, right? And then I will ask the viewers as well a different question. Look, you were already in the stream on Thursday. Poppy Mental was hosting that one. You were with Damien and Yadorenko, of course. Ziggy was there. And you guys were talking about the interview of Berger, which was an interesting interview. One of the things that he mentioned, which was highlighted, was that within a team, within, like, let's say, a first squad that has 24 players, you have some players that are, like the key players. You have the players that are starters, the subs, but you also have the ones that he sees as high potentials, right? Of this team, of this squad that we have right now, who would you place under that bracket or under that category? Would you consider
high potential?
High potential. Would you consider Taylor a high potential? Would you consider Gods a high potential? Does Brobby still fits as a high potential, or is he a full-fledged first squad player? What do you think of this? Just a question I'm dropping to you. You didn't prepare for it, I know. I'm making it hard for you.
Hato and Kaplan.
Hato?
I think a high potential. I think Kaplan because he already has the mentality to be confident and trying to pass the ball forward, and so does Hato. Taylor, no, I don't believe he has high potential. Because you'd be seeing it otherwise, seeing some kind of individuality. Like Hato, you need to play left back. Okay, he'll do a good job. But you need to play centre back. He'll do a good job there, kind of thing. Hot, yes. And Brobby, for me, it's hard because in this squad, he's first team. He's like one of the first names on the sheet. But I feel like if he were to go to the Premier League, or like a top 5 league, like Italy or Spain or something like that, he would then be seen as a young player, needs to find his feet and things like that. But I feel like he's important to us because obviously what he offers, and I feel like in the Eredivisie you can have that balance where you can have high potential players to bring on in 30 minutes or 25 minutes, only if the first team are very, very, very strong. And I feel like we're far away from that currently.
So the high potentials are now the first team players, some of them already.
Because we've been forced into playing them. Like, let's be real. In like we said in that stream as well, in 2019, if Hato comes in, does he start? He doesn't, because you've got Blind, you've got Tagliafico, etc., etc. He wouldn't have to start, but because he had to start, he's had to mature very quickly.
Yeah.
And young players make mistakes still, but when we see a mistake from him, we're like, oh no, Hato's made a mistake. What's happening, kind of thing. Because he's had to mature very quickly. And Taylor had to come into the first team because Klavenberg left and there was no replacement ready, etc., etc. So he had to step up, and maybe that's what halted his development as well. So
I know what you're saying. It's clear. Thanks for that.
Probably for me, I wouldn't say currently in the Ajax team he's a first teamer, but I say if he go elsewhere, then I feel like he has high potential.
Yeah. All right. Javid is reacting to this question, actually saying Gods, probably Vos as well. Kaplan and Hato.
Vos looked good today. I liked Vos today when he came on. He looked very proactive, trying to bring the ball forward. Yeah, I like that. His performance.
Vic is saying about Taylor, he also played about 3 positions this season, didn't he? Yeah, he did. He was also pushed around, in terms of where to play. So fully.
I think he's done. Yeah, wing back 6, 8, 10.
Yeah.
He's done 4.
Yeah, exactly. Steven is saying, let's do a keep, bench, or sell episode on the current club with Ajax, he means, with a full 4-man panel. Yeah, Steven. So just my counter question would be, would you like Jadrenko to be part of that panel? Because then probably he will sell everyone. No, I'm just joking. We will do it, but probably at the end of the season, like when the 2 games have been played. But we need to check the schedule as well. It depends. There are a couple of things happening in terms of coaching as well. But we'll definitely do it. It's on the agenda. All right. My question to the viewers to end the game talk. It's actually more than just the game we're talking about. But I want to ask, as I pointed out, we're still in negotiations with Potter. It seems a little bit difficult at the moment. Ajax is also looking for Farioli, who's coaching in France. If it's up to you, who would you take? Who would you rather take? Would you prefer Potter? Would you prefer Farioli? After the stream ends, drop it in the comment section. Let us know why you prefer Potter or why you prefer Farioli. That will be very interesting for us to know as well. So other than that, thank you very much. Enjoy your Sunday. 3 points in the bag. We're closer to the 5th spot. Take care, guys.